This daisy pot has lived in my head for ages. I know how the parts should come together, but clay doesn't always cooperate. Today, I'm building from multiple thrown pieces, and I'll finally see if the reality matches the idea. I need 3 times 500 grams of clay. I'll also need another kilo to roll out the base. So I take the first 500 grams and center. Once centered, I flatten the top. I'll flatten to about 80 mil. I push down into the clay. I want to make the base 12 millimeters. If it's too thin, it'll make it difficult to join the pieces together later. I start to form the walls. I straighten the walls. So the dimensions are 80 mil wide by 130 mil high. So then I trim and wire through. I set aside to dry to not quite leather hard, and then I make another 2. Now I'm not going to trim. So this is something you might want to keep in mind when you're throwing the cylinders. That is to trim away and tidy up any excess clay in the base. So my pieces are not quite leather hard and I'm ready to assemble. So I'm using my template. I'll use this template to cut out the hexagon for the base. But first, I'll cut the cylinders in half. I use my circle guide to mark out an exact half, and then I use a square. And I cut down the sides and then across the base. I do this for all 3 pots. I roll out a slab of clay. I'm going to cut the hexagon from this slab. I roll the slab out to nearly 1 centimeter thick. I know that's quite hefty, but it will help with joining the petal sections later. And then I cut out the hexagon. And now I scratch both pieces where I'm going to join. And I use some slip. I push the pieces together, give them a little bit of a jiggle, and then I join. I blend clay from the petal section to the base. I do the same for the remaining petals. This takes a while, so I'm going to speed it up. And I'll take this opportunity to remind you to subscribe if you haven't done so. And of course, like and comment below. There's also a link below that you can use to request a template for this project. It has weights and dimensions that you can use as a starting point. I add a coil of clay to the upright join of the petals. I do this for all the inner joins. And then I smooth. I tidy the joins and then set the pot on its rim. I'm going to use foam to support the base from the inside. And then I join from the base. So I'm speeding through the joining part because it's a bit of a long process. And I add some coils of clay to the joins just to reinforce them. I'll leave it to firm up a little before I finish smoothing. And I flip it over to take a look. I cover and dry slowly, and then I bisque fire. And I glaze. I dip half, let it dry, and then dip the other half. The seams disguise the join really well. And I'll clean the glaze off the base, and then I glaze fire. And so it's fired. I'm not sure that the shape is fully resolved. There are a few ideas I'd like to play around with to take this a bit further. So for one, I think it could be fun to play around with the size of the petals. And then there's the aspect ratio. I wouldn't mind seeing what it looks like if it's a little taller. So this might not be the daisy pot of my dreams. Nevertheless, it's pretty cute with a plant in it. For more functional plant pots, check out my self-watering planter video. And as always, happy potting!